Have you ever heard of the most indestructible, inescapable, and highly guarded prison in the world? Alcatraz was that place until the Great Escape, which had led to the prison's closure.
Alcatraz, located offshore of San Francisco, California.
The island off the coast of San Francisco was originally an island inhabited by pelicans. Its first name was La Isla de los Alcatraz. It hadn't been touched until 1846. The earliest record owner was Julian Workman, and he later gave the deed to the Mexican governor, Pio Pico. Workman would later build a lighthouse on the island. Due to the island being isolated in frigid water, the island was used to house prisoners of the American Civil War as early as 1861. Soon after the Civil War, the island was fortified with bulletproof walls, shell-proof underground tunnels, but unfortunately the plans were never complete.
When the American Civil War broke out, the island brought in 85 cannons that would surround the island. The island also served as a strong of gunpowder and firearms. The island then opened a federal penitentiary in August of 1934. It was turned into a prison to hold a handful of prisoners that constantly caused federal crimes in the U.S. At 9:40 a.m. on August 11, 1934, the first batch of prisoners arrived at their cells.
During the 29 years it was in use, the jail held some of the most notorious criminals in American history, such as Al Capone and George Machine Gun Kelly.
They weren't that bad. They only killed a few hundred people and robbed 27 banks. Well, Birdman, as we call him, was charged with homicide 3 times and was sentenced to life in jail. His first crime was manslaughter in 1909. He was then sentenced to 12 years in jail. He then assaulted a person in 1912 and was jailed for 3 years. His final and last crime was murder in 1916.
Sadly, the prison was closed due to erosion in the island, and the prison was too expensive for the government to keep. Each prisoner cost $10 a day for the government, and the city of San Francisco was complaining about the sewage problem from the prison. So they sent the prisoners off to different prisons, and they shut down the prison. After the prison was closed, it was occupied by Native American activists to be used to protest against the government about Native American rights. The occupiers wanted to build a Native American education system on the island, with the ecology and cultural centers being built nearby. Richard Nixon then established a new policy, and thus the occupants left the island.
But before, there were a lot of escape attempts. Most people failed, but 2 escape attempts were never found.
There were 14 escape attempts to be exact.
The first escape attempt was in 1937 when Joseph Bower was burning garbage in the prison incinerator. Then he attempted to run to shore, but he was caught by a guard and was shot. The second escape attempt was by Theodore Cole and Ralph Rowe. In 1937, they were both filing through the iron bars in the industrial part of the prison. It was foggy, so none of the guards saw them. They made it to the shore, but due to the weather, they might have drowned.
One of the most mysterious escape attempts was the 13th escape attempt, and it happened when Frank Morris and brothers John and Clarence Anglin vanished from their cells and were never seen again. A 4th person, Alan West, was thought to be the mastermind behind the plan. An investigation revealed an intricate escape plot that involved homemade drills to enlarge vent holes, false wall segments, and realistic dummy heads, complete with human hair. They were placed in beds so the inmates would not be missed during the nighttime counts.
The 3 men exited through the vent holes located in the rear wall of their cell. They had enlarged the vent holes and made false vents to conceal their work. Behind the rear wall of the cells is a utility corridor.
The 3 men climbed the utility pipes to the top of the cell block and gained access to the roof through an air vent. They then climbed down a drain pipe on the northern end of the cell house and made their way to the water.
Alcatraz had the most notorious criminals in the world. It was said to be inescapable until the Great Escape, which eventually led to the prison's closure. To this day, it is a museum that showcases its cells and other areas of the prison.